Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 28th. First, there has been a fuel and fire behavior advisory issued for the Great Basin for eastern Nevada, much of Utah, and the Arizona Strip. Otherwise, very strong winds and low humidity today will shift east to mainly the Arizona Strip, southern and eastern Utah, with active fire behavior and new fires and holdovers still likely under these conditions. Otherwise, the strong cold front did move across the north and will be moving through the region, still continuing with much colder temperatures, wetting rains, and some high elevation snowfall in the north, definitely moderating fire behavior. Otherwise, cooler temperatures will spread across the region. Fuel's overall fire danger is still very high in the southern half of the Great Basin, with many areas still in the 90th to 97th percentiles. Although we will see significant moistening in northern areas this weekend into early next week, only slight modifications are expected in southern areas with the cooler temperatures, but continued dry conditions. So here is the area of our Great Basin Fuel and Fire Behavior Advisory. You can see here, obviously, the persistent drought, record low fuel moistures. We're seeing very extreme fire behavior and advanced fire behavior across the region. So please visit our website where you can access that advisory. Looking at our fire potential impacts for the next few days, today is the last of the most critical days, with the winds again being pushed a little bit further east, so a much smaller area of the very strong winds, but still expect those wind gusts above 45 or 50 miles per hour with single-digit relative humidity in the south and eastern areas. Otherwise, the cooler temperatures do push further south to many of our large incidents over northern and central Utah and into southern Nevada, although we will still see continued dry conditions. Otherwise, continued showers in the north. Monday, we will see that front move across the area with cooler temperatures region-wide and some showers still lingering in the north, but winds really significantly drop off. But they will start increasing again over eastern Utah on Tuesday, and we are expecting a breezy week. Just a quick look at the National Weather Service alerts. Obviously, we have a tale of two cities across the Great Basin with the red flag warnings in the south, and then we have some winter weather type advisories across northern areas. Otherwise, the morning satellite shows the cold front again moving through much of the region with the cloud cover and showers across the northern half of the region, but still clear skies over the southern half of the region and already active fire behavior, which we expect to continue. Over the last 24 hours, any of the precipitation, which was obviously accompanied by scattered lightning, occurred over the northern half of the region. We did see some light precipitation, but also many amounts in the greens here, over a quarter or half inch. Over the last 7 days, this precipitation in the north has been well above normal in parts of western Idaho into northwest Nevada, and kind of a mix over southern areas just because June is so dry. Any precipitation really does push that to above normal. Otherwise, yesterday's activity, fire-wise, we had 8 new fires reported for over 900 acres, but over 60,000 acres of growth on our large fires, and Great Basin still PL4. Looking at the smoke conditions for today, obviously, as our fires pick up in activity, any smoke will be from our own incidents. And looking at our current fire danger, ERCs are still between the 90th and 97th percentile in the south. And you can see in the southern areas, although they did drop significantly from where they were, we will be rapidly rising again as we see warmer temperatures and breezy conditions for this week. In the north, the fire danger definitely dropped more significantly. And aside from western Wyoming and eastern parts of Idaho, we will see those ERCs fairly slow to rebound, especially in the mountainous areas. So looking at the current conditions over the next few days, you can see obviously that cold front and that low, slow to move across the northern Rockies still impacting the north with drier and breezy conditions in the south, although today will be the last day of those strong winds. So we do have high risk for those winds today, with tomorrow actually no high risk, but still a lot of moderate risk of large fire in southern and eastern areas, which will never truly go away and will start expanding again on Tuesday. We did start issuing high risk for the return of gusty winds for eastern Utah on Tuesday, although these winds will not be as strong as what we have been seeing. And you can see that here on the wind picture. Obviously today, continuation of those strong winds in the south, but then things drop off. We will see some gusty winds in the north, but with the wetter conditions and no real major concerns for significant fire potential. And then on Tuesday, we will see those winds return more in the 30 to 35 mile per hour variety. So again, not as strong, but still breezy enough with single digit to low teen humidity continuing over southern and eastern Utah. Precipitation just across the north, and temperatures will be quite cool in most areas today. We will see probably the coolest temperatures in parts of central and southern Utah today and into tomorrow before conditions start gradually warming closer to normal values. Later in the week, Wednesday through Friday, we will continue with this persistent trough across the west. So this will keep those gusty southwest winds across the region going through the week. And so you can see for our significant fire potential, we do have scattered areas of high risk in the south, again, where our fuels are most critical, which will also not see much relief from the current cold front and where we have ongoing large fires. Looking at the wind and relative humidity, you can see these breezy winds, again, more around that 30 mile per hour or 35 mile per hour range going through next week, and then continued dry conditions in the south with a little bit more moderate conditions in the north. Precipitation with this trough and the gusty winds, we also will see some other light showers across the north, not as much widespread wetting rains as we saw with this front, but enough to keep fire danger low in the north, and then temperatures gradually warm through the week. A recap of our 7-day significant fire potential outlook. Again, the high risk today for those very strong winds continuing in the south and eastern portions of Utah and the Arizona Strip, and then winds tapering off tomorrow, but then starting to pick back up Tuesday, really through much of the week, especially over southern and eastern areas, so scattered high risk for those winds, although they won't be as strong. Looking at the 6 to 10-day outlook from July 3rd through the 7th, still not expecting any relief really with moisture, especially across Nevada and Utah. So dry conditions continuing in those areas and then generally near to above normal temperatures. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.